Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I'm listening to myself speak and noticing I'm sounding a little bit healthier. I still have a cough and, some of the nasty gunk, but for the most part I'm feeling more normal now than I have over the last few days, and that's good. It's almost time to return to work. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, I'm not saying that I want to spend the rest of my days just sitting around the house. Simultaneously, it's been nice having some time to myself to just let my thoughts flow and, just spend some time on my other hobbies. But anyway, let's go ahead and do the soundtrack choice. D20. Huh. Okay, well, we got the classics a third time in a row, so the next episode I record, I will be choosing the soundtrack. No need for a roll. Okay, so I just noticed I have something very similar to the setup I was planning on using. I'm just going to change a couple of things around. Here we go. So, one of my regular viewers decided to run on a take on one of my usual builds, which is what I like to call power-based projectiles. Basically, take things that work well for a projectile build, and get that to work using a power setup. Now, the setup looks like it would work just fine for Captain's Ring. Let's see how the Gloves of Gambit would change. They wouldn't. But because Wavefront doesn't count as a projectile, I think I would rather start with the Captain's Ring. And either way, what we really want is for that ring to show up during the run. So this is the exact setup that my boy is using. So I didn't say his name. I don't know if it's cool for me to or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Shout out to XR Freedom for trying out one of my builds. Now I'm going to take it and see what I can do with it. Now it looks like it's got a pretty good defensive option in Volt Pinball. So that should work out pretty well here. Now, I do want to have a quick look, see if I can get a good cursed relic from the lobby for a build like this. And there's a part of me that's thinking, either Pie of 5 Fruits, Melting Pot, or my usual retro floor plan should do the job. So let's see what you do. So the problem with that is that Volt Pinball does some of its damage and control via the shock status effect, so I don't know how I feel about that. Melting Pot would be good for defense. And you know what? I think I'm going to go with that. We've got ourselves a kind of broad spectrum here, so we're going to see what we can do to make it work. Alright, so the twins, Shu, and Zeal. And remember, if you guys are interested in seeing me try to do a... Oh, hey. If you guys are interested in seeing me try to run one of your builds, just see, the easiest way to get me to do that is to drop the build you want me to do in the build ideas section of my Discord. That having been said, I'm also aware that some of you either don't use Discord or just for whatever reason would prefer to use something else. So long as the message gets to me, I also use Facebook, which is kind of a meh And I also use Twitter. Again, kind of a meh. Like, I know neither one of those are things that we're super, like, stoked about using at all times. Especially Facebook. Like, I know recent feelings on Facebook are quite different than they used to be, and I don't blame anyone for that. I use it just because it's there. I use it mostly to advertise my work. That's about it. Oh, hey, more control. I can dig that. I also like the idea of upgrading Wavefront. We'll do that because that'll be a good way to help guard against enemy bullshittery. Oh, that was dumb. So if I was thinking about holding on to the electrified, what is it, electrified smock? Electrifying smock, okay. Pardon me, I got the wrong suffix. So I was planning on keeping that, but now there's a good chance that I'll just use it to gain a little extra money. Which, to be fair, neither option is bad. Yes, I remember how you ended my run yesterday, you bastard. Don't think I'm gonna let you get away with it again. Okay, Roxel's Pendulum. Definitely not bad. Singing Bowl, not bad. Alright, well, let's just get this over with. I definitely want Bouncing Surge. Because what's going to become of Volt Pinball is questionable. And I'm certainly not saying that I don't think Volt Pinball is good, it's just not necessarily for me. But I'm going to try to... I'm going to do my best to just not get rid of it. Because that would not be in fair spirit of the rest of the run. Aqua Arc. Now, see, here's the thing. I really do like Stone Shot. I'm gonna stop there because I just realized that if I take that, then I'm losing power on my Captain's Ring. So let's be a good boy and just suppress that thought. Plus, let's be honest, do I like Aqua Arc better than Stone Shot? Not really. Hey, thanks, Finicky Controller. That's exactly what I wanted to do, is throw a javelin into a wall. By the way, as long as I'm thinking about it, on the point of yesterday's video, I'm not sure how well I made this clear, but the reason why I feel diversity is important is because we live in a very interconnected world where we can't avoid having to handle people of all sorts of colors, creeds, religions, yada yada yada, etc., etc. And having that be represented fairly and accurately in a gaming environment is a good thing. Like, do I think that we should strive to, strive to go towards an extreme of removing any trace of, like, say, white males from video game representation? No. Because, you see, diversity is a two-way street. And just because one group of people has been represented a lot doesn't mean that they should no longer be represented, like, ever again. That would go very much against the spirit of diversity and equality. Ooh, things here that I like. Let's see. I kind of like the idea of the Anchor of Burden because I'm never too worried about just straight up movement speed because there are generally other movement options. And even though I think the pewter bracelet's design principle is fair, I think it builds up too slowly. So, what the hell? Anchor of Burden it is. Like, last time I had the pewter bracelet, didn't it only build up to, like, plus 9 point something through the entirety of a run? Like, certainly not what I would call groundbreaking in its damage increase, I'll tell you that much. But, assuming that we can continue to meet up with our boy, stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. But yes, I feel as though maintaining an action, maintaining the kind of steady progress forward we've been making on making things more inclusive and diverse is a good thing, but I don't feel that it should come at the expense of... Well, I mean, I have to pick this up. But I don't think it should come at the expense of, of what's already been. Because once you start treating people differently just because of say the color of their skin, whoops, that's prejudice. Alright, so I'm gonna adopt the fairies. And then we're gonna take it a step further and grab Mock Stunner. Alright. And yes, there was another relic I could pick up, but I think grabbing that would be just a little too counterproductive. I mean, losing 125 health to, essentially, it'd actually be 128, to pick up the Pathfinder's knapsack, like, I just don't think I would get enough back from that quickly enough for it to make up for. You know what? I am just gonna do it. Like, what's the point? What's the point of picking up the Wallet of Vigor if we're not gonna abuse the crap out of it and sell our very essence in order to get stronger? Like, do you guys ever wonder why this one isn't the first one and the other one is the one you should be able to buy from the shop? Crystalline Ballestra, huh? It's not a projectile, but it's worth picking up. And if we hold on to it until we get to Zeal, it'll be quite effective there. Ooh, I really like Mock Stunner. Because sometimes the solution to your problems isn't necessarily just more damage. Sometimes it's more control. Let's see. Do you have anything I want? No, not really. And yeah, Phoenix Talons can be nice, but I'm not gonna throw away more health for that. So let's see what else shows up. This is a floor where we could spend more money on Arcana in order to essentially get caught up on the power level that we probably should be at for. Oh, don't worry, birds. Everything will work out just fine. Yeah, see? That's the spirit. Just because I'm only at 221 health doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way forever. Oops. Thanks a lot, game. That was perfect. I see the upgrade to Bouncing Surge, and I am happy to take that. Though I'm noticing she's not too quick to help me upgrade Volt Pinball. That's the one I'd really like to see upgraded, because, frankly, it's not too impressive until you upgrade it. Oh, and of course, because if I could upgrade that, I could take it to Dr. Song. Jeez, thanks a lot. Alright, but that brings up the question of what can we buy to trade to Dr. Song? Because, see, if I do something cheeky and move Volt Pinball into the spare slot and then buy something else, I get to hold on to it. Here we go. So let's go ahead and do that. We will trade her the Ice Seekers. And hopefully she's got something good for us. You know, like the Elixir of Might. See, that's perfect. That's exactly why I made that trade. Alright, that works out swimmingly. I guess when it comes right down to it, it's... And I hate to keep harping on this topic because I'm sure it's getting just a little on the old side. It's like, yeah, we get it, diversity, good, shut up. But the reason why it's worth talking about is because it is been strangely a point of contention for a little while now, and you know, certain actions from certain big gaming companies always making a point that needs to be brought up again. So we'll just cap it off by saying seeing the world from different points of view and perspective is a good thing, and it makes us more worldly and broadly cultured, and allows us to have a greater understanding of the world around us and the conditions with which other people live. Oh, I'm glad that wasn't a mimic. So, that's where I'm coming from on that. And I'd also like to point out, as I had said, you know, give just a little bit of credit where credit is due. At least Diablo Immortal does that kind of right. That's like the only thing that game does right. No, I kid. The actual gameplay is pretty solid. It's... The game aspect of that product is pretty good, but I call it a product because, let's be real here, not a single damn one of the people who wanted that game on the market were putting it on the market because it was a good game. They're using it for the same reason anyone else uses a free-to-play game, because it'll make them money. Now, this once again I once again feel the need to remind that I'm aware that making games is not necessarily cheap, and especially if you're putting something out that's literally free to play, you need to make back your money somehow. I get that, but somehow would be make a good game, put it out there, and then, you know, offer people a few monetized things and be like, hey, if you like our game, why not consider supporting us? That, to me, seems fair. But that's also a meritocratic system, and we know that in order to make ultimate capitalistic games, ain't nobody got time for fairness. Cool, we can upgrade that finally. And I suppose that would be the other thing to think about when it comes to this whole thing is fairness is kind of at the core of a lot of these issues. Because who's going to be benefiting the most from the pay to win garbage? Certainly not the average Joes who are just looking for a good game to play. Oh, but it's all optional. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to. If it's optional, then why is it in the game? You don't have a choice but to engage with it every time you turn the friggin' game on. And again, I know, free to play. I get that part. But it being free to play doesn't excuse all the shady crap. Like, it's very clear that they went too far, but, you know, we're not going to talk about that. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and do that. Well, that was just plain awful. No, the pay-to-win systems that you see in games like Diablo Immortal and, you know, their ilk, they are disproportionately designed to help the publishers and the people who have more dollars than cents. The people who just have nothing else to do with their time but to drop all of their money on a game like that. And even that isn't, you know, 100% proportionally true, because the other thing that's a game like that is good at is manipulating people who have, you know, problems with addiction, like actual gambling addiction problems, who shouldn't be around things like that. It manipulates them into spending money that they could be spending on, you know, food and clothing and, you know, rent. It manipulates them into spending in a way that's not healthy for them. And that's so when I use fairness in the same context as talking about Diablo Immortal, that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that it's disproportionately unfair to the people who just want a good Diablo game, but don't want to have to deal with a slot machine in a casino the whole time that they're playing. Yeah, but they can technically still get everything that the paid players get. I mean, have you seen the drop rates for some of the things that you need in that game? Like, let's just real quick go over that and see how fair that whole thing really is. So, the end game revolves around legendary gems, and those are disproportionately gained through Elder Rifts, which are essentially like mini dungeons that you can enter by giving the game these like special crests, things that you use to add modifiers onto the Elder Rift, so the little mini dungeon you get out of it is, you know, harder or easier or something in some fashion. But really, the modifiers are there to modify the treasure that you get. And the treasure that you get is largely determined by the type of crest that you put into it. Now, there are just regular old rare crests, but using those, you can only get up to 1 and 2 star, like, just straight up capped gems. However, you can get gems that are uncapped, or essentially like rank 2 out of 5, rank 3 out of 5, rank 4 out of 5, or rank 5 out of 5 by giving the legendary crests. Oh, and surprise, surprise, the legendary crests, you gotta pay for those. You can't get any more than maybe 3 or 4 of them from actual gameplay. So, you know, there's a little disproportionate unfairness there. Let's see if we get anything good here. Then you have to consider the drop rates of said items. Not sure I even like anything else he has to offer. Not for this build, anyway. There are plenty of things that are good. I like that, I like that, I like that. These guys are okay. So it's not like there isn't anything else here that's good. There's just nothing else there that really catches my fancy. Honestly, I don't even like the wind salvo. Not for a power-based build. But you see, if you get... now I can get that, and then proceed to not use it until after this floor, because I'm using the crystalline ballista right now. I mean, let's be fair, there isn't a whole lot here that's, you know, doing it. I don't have the merchant's cart, so whatever. I think I will, however, splurge on the Dice of the Nemesis, even though I don't have anything that's raising critical hit chance. What the hell? And that's not all, because in order to fully max out the rank on a legendary gem, you've got to essentially break down another legendary gem of the same type to rank it up. And that not only takes another legendary gem of the same star rating, but as time goes on, you need more and more of those. I think it takes something like 100 of the same rank 5 gem to level up a gem from you know, whatever, from rank 1 to rank 10, and that's on top of the star ratings. And then they also add on things like awakening and resonance, and all these other bullshit ways to say, hey, give us money and we'll keep making your character stronger. And it's like, God, you people are disgusting. Have you no shame? None whatsoever. Now give us money. And that's really what it boils down to. Now, the next thing you'd probably be thinking to yourself is, oh, that's all well and good, but interesting. I don't want that gauntlet, because if I mistime it, I lose HP for trying to guard. Christ. Did they actually interrupt two of my castings? Perfect. It's exactly where I wanted that to go. It's the second time I've just punished the wall. For what it's worth, that bricky fuck had it coming. Now, the number that's going around as the kind of official number of the amount of money it takes to max out a character has been calculated by a particular Reddit user at about $110,000 just to fully max out a character. Now, there have been some updates to that number, including the idea that that is the number that you'd be paying if you have average luck. Okay, well, I don't even care about you, but there are two things up here I do want. I want this, and I want this. And I'm pretty sure that that number doesn't reflect all of the different systems that are in the game that they want you to pay out the nose for to interact with. See, I'm pretty sure that that number only incorporates some of them. Which now leads us right back to the original point, which is, does any of this sound fair for the average Joe just looking for a good game to play? To which you would probably respond, probably not. To which I would respond, rightly so. Oh, hey, look at that. Well, the thing is, I don't want to give up too much of this stuff, because a lot of it is really useful. I guess if I had to give up anything, I would give up the Wallet of Vigor. And then I would actually be going out and looking for other stuff, so... Here we go, I can give it this, and this. So... Oh, and that's a freebie. Are there any other freebies on the map that I can give it? I think that's the only other one. Alright, so, I actually have a plan now. Let's go ahead and go over to this corner and drop all the stuff I want to keep. I want to keep that. Can't drop that, can't drop that. I want to keep that, I don't care about that. Want to keep, want to keep, want to keep, want to keep. There we go. Now, let's go to the store. We're going to buy this, we're going to buy this, and we're going to pick up that. And no, I don't think it's worth taking 104 damage to pick that up. There we go. Alright, we're back. We got the combination to the air shield. Alright, we are definitely ready to move on now. Hello again, Mrs. Eel. I hope this day finds you well. You don't have to explode me, though, just because you don't want to talk to me about that. Ooh, nice. Not good for this run, but I definitely like it more than I did probably about 2 months ago this time. I'm telling you, every one of these electric javelins that's hitting the wall is doing so because, frankly, that guy owes me money. Alright, let's go ahead and switch this back now. There we go. That actually panned out very nicely. I like how that worked out. Well, I mean, even if I wanted it, I couldn't afford the... And to be fair, I do want it, but I can't afford the Cartographer's Quill at this point. Not that I need it. However, we won't be able to use the Pathfinder's Knapsack anymore. But you know what? There's no sense in dropping it, because in order to go into the final boss at full strength, I need to buy the health potion. Now, the same Redditor who calculated that it would take $110,000 to max out a character in Diablo Immortal did also do the calculations to see how long it would take a player to get all this stuff without spending any money. And the calculation to that came out to roughly a little over 10 years. Still sound like it's something just optional that you don't have to interact with. Sorry, the only games that I've played that are worth playing for 10 years are things that stand the test of time, like, oh, I don't know. Mega Man 2 stands the test of time. I could play that for 10 years. Not all in a row. You get the idea. There are some games that you can spend that long playing just because they're good enough games. And whereas Diablo Immortal is serviceable, there is a good game underneath it. Is it good enough to justify essentially being locked in a 10-year prison just to get that kind of gear? I am also pretty sure that I'm not sure if it's with or without breaks, but yeah, there's a reason why the whole fairness thing has been coming up in my mind again, and pardon me. That is because this game is anything but fair. It is a soulless cash grab or a manipulative, devilish time sink. It's one of the two. Pick one. And I don't want any part of it, thank you very much. I've been boycotting Activision Blizzard for a long time now, and this and the allegations of the allegations and proof of abuse, the mishandling of their IPs, the lack of any sort of artistic desire, like these, like there's a reason why I don't support Activision Blizzard, and I'm not going to tell you what to do. If you have Activision Blizzard games you want to play, by all means play them, but I would be lying if I said that I would highly prefer that you didn't. We need to move away from this company as well as from this monetization mindset entirely. But anyway, I've spoken at great length about Blizzard in the past. I will probably continue to do so, but hopefully you now understand why the whole idea of diversity and fairness in video games is coming to the surface again, because it seems to right now be disproportionately positive for the people with either way too much money on their hands, or for the publishers milking addictions from people who have enough problems on their goddamn plates. Oh, and fuck you, Activision. Alright, that's going to be it for me. I rambled a little bit longer there at the end than I thought I would, so thank you guys very much for putting up with me. If you do me a favor and drop me a like on this video so that it gets out to people who wouldn't normally see it, that would be great. Subscribe to my channel to see more stuff coming out in the future. Drop a comment. Let's have a conversation. And again, Algorithm Beast. And I will see you guys in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I will be seeing you.